it looks like we're at least both in here, and then I'll kick out a tweet. Let's make sure I can hear you and you can hear me at least.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hopefully there's no echo.
Yeah. No, sounds good on my end. Same on your end?
Yeah. It's my first time using Twitter
Awesome.
Spaces on my phone or Twitter on my phone because I don't use my phone as much as I probably should.
Yeah, it seems like a massive oversight that you can only do this on the phone.
I
Um,
also
Especially,
always forget that when I try and plug my headphones into my phone that I don't actually have a headphone jack.
yes, that makes it complicated as well. No, I don't understand why these aren't like all also set up for desktop or at least have like some sort of workaround or something because or laptop. That's how I spend most of my day. Using the phone is like sort of annoying. But we'll make it work.
Yeah, we seem to be making it working already, so that's a pretty good start.
Yeah, that's right. Anytime everything works, I feel like is net positive. We'll give there's like a million other Twitter spaces going on, like overlapping this right now. So we'll give people like a couple minutes to fill in. But either way, this is going to get recorded and dumped into the Fly Frog YouTube channel, so people can come circle back and hang out and check out what's going on and what you're cooking up. Uh, you're not in East Denver, are you? Do you go to any of these things?
Me, Denver? Uh, the closest I've come to Denver was probably eating the sandwich.
What is the Denver sandwich?
I believe it's a breakfast sandwich where you put like eggs and stuff in it. It's pretty good.
Oh, all right. That
Yeah.
sounds all right. I would take that rather than the hassle of going to East Denver. Although it's like filling up my timeline, and now I'm sort of having some FOMO effects, but it'll
No,
pass.
I'm from BC in Canada.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like it's a hike for me as well. Maybe not quite as far as it is for you, but I'm on like the other side of the country in the U.S. So I don't know. I was going back and forth about going to Denver, but here I am instead hanging out in Twitter Spaces with you, and I can't say I'm like regretting it too much. This is cool. Um, so we could kick this thing off here. People hanging out in the audience, Fly Frogs, Ethereal, Crypto, Tanya, Lardy. Welcome to our cozy little Fly Frog community podcast hangout. Um, I'm actually really excited to talk to Redacted. I don't know much about Redacted at all, other than I was so thrilled when, as Lord of the Pond, I appointed Redacted as chief of NFT wardrobes for Fly Frogs, and they immediately like jumped right in character and like adopted the role and have actually been like ratcheting up like roles and responsibilities in this ever since. But I would love to hear like your your perspective on how this whole thing went down, just sort of like how you found the frogs and fell into NFTs in the first place, and maybe then we could talk about like your role within Fly Frogs a little bit and what you got going on outside of that as well.
Yeah, for sure. So it's really funny because my partner, Ethereal Zephyr, was the one who was pretty much into crypto and artwork because I do mostly animation and commission work for friends and whatnot because I'm a live action roleplay player and everybody needs character and fan art, so that's mostly what I
Cool.
focused on. And he eventually got talking so much about crypto that I figured, you know what, fine, I'll finally give it a shot. Let's see if I can score up some random internet points. And from there, I basically made the character username the Persona Redacted Frog because I was really into SCP Containment Breach, so that's where the redacted came from. And I've been a big fan of frogs my entire life, so there you go.
Wait, help me out
And
for us old heads like out of the loop. SCT, or I might even have gooped it up. Containment breach. Can you walk it back a second and help me
yeah,
understand?
so SCP Containment Breach is essentially a forum of creepypasta and horror stories online
Okay.
that all focus around the Secure, Contain, Protect SCP. And it's really fun to read at night when, you have nothing else to really do. And most people probably wouldn't read it at night because they tend to be really freaky and messed up things. But I don't know, I found it fun and I have weird dreams anyway, so it really doesn't impact me. Yeah.
Amazing. So wait, so then connect the dots here. You're into this, your partner's into crypto, and you're thinking there's got to be like what, some correlation or connection or way to like bridge these two interests type of thing?
Yeah, as an artist, he wanted me to give it a shot, mint some art, see what happens, connect with his crypto friends and all that other fun stuff. So, me being me, I said sure, and then I made my account, immediately forgot my password, and just started Googling frog. Just searching frog on Twitter and liking and commenting on all these random people's posts from around the world, just confusing the masses. And that's when I stumbled upon Fly Frogs. It was my first NFT, and I looked at it for probably an hour. I'm like, this is a pretty good frog. I like this. And so I told Ethereal Zephyr, and he's like, do you want to get one? And I'm like, but that costs money. And he's like, well, we have money. And I'm like, we have money? And we did. We had money, and then now we have frogs, and now we have money and frogs, so it's pretty good.
It's amazing how like Web3 works out like that, like somehow. So must have thought I was crazy, or either that, or it just seemed like a natural fit when I forget exactly what happened. You had designed some costume for the frogs that I was actually amazed how easy it was, and it wasn't like an NFT, but it was just some sort of like overlay that you could put on the frogs, and all of a sudden there were like lots of costumes that we could overlay on the frogs and everything. I was like, oh my god, this is so amazing. I just like randomly like on Twitter called you out and appointed you as like chief of wardrobes for Fly Frogs. And I feel like you didn't even miss a beat. You were like, okay, I just like, and then you just like put it in your Twitter profile and like moved right along as if that was like the obvious like path forward for you.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm pretty easygoing. I found it really funny because I was just doing the costumes for fun. Because I like doodling, I like having fun. The style was already set. It's a really, really easy style to get into. It's not like I'm doing 3D art and trying to layer that over top. It's just fun costume doodles. So didn't take a lot of time, didn't take a lot of effort. They were just fun. And I ended up doing, yeah, quite a few in my free time and ended up really growing the community. And I had fun, everybody else had fun.
It was honestly, it was like so fun that, so we have this sort of public toad map, we call it, and then like behind the scenes toad map of like, how we're sort of putting everything together and what information we're going to release publicly. And I think for a while, like we sort of got sidetracked and everyone got sidetracked because your costumes were so amazing, and everyone just thought we like created this NFT project to like have a costume party. I say we as if I did anything. I sort of jumped on the bandwagon for the love of the frogs as well. Fly Frogs and Molecule did all the work, but for for a long time we were just sort of having costume parties just for fun, even though like work was going on in the background. But the stuff that you were making was just so fun, and like seasonal, and I don't know, just sort of meme worthy as well. Some of them,
Oh yeah.
it was very very cool. It sort of turned into a thing, right? Like now, without like going into too much detail, I'm on this like Fly Frog merch private channel that I walk away from the laptop and then I walk back and there's like 70 more DMs going on since I had
It's
walked
quite the
away
fun
from it.
little team we have going. Yeah, there's a lot of things up in the works. There's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of ideas coming to fruition, which is amazing, especially at the pace that we're accomplishing. Yeah, we have some fantastic members of that pond, and it's always an inspiring and amazing place where you can bounce ideas off of each other and keep them in your back pocket. And well, we're sorting through all the back pocket stuff now, and there's a lot we can draw on, and a lot we're going to continue with, which is wonderful.
So I don't even know, like, so we had Studio TBD did one of these podcasts with us, and they are releasing some really cool like in real life merchandise from like, it's a cross project thing. So they got Fly Frog stuff as well as other projects, and it's all very cool. They were on the whip as well. I don't know if people know fully that we've had this like behind the scenes merch like workshop going on, and are actually going to be putting out. I don't know if you could call it like officially licensed anything in like Web3, but like from the source of the creator type of stuff. Do you want to just sort of let people know, like, give them sort of a hint on what's been going on, how long? It's you and Strawberry who are sort of leading the charge for the most part, correct?
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble by getting poked with a stick afterward or sent to a bad lily pad, but
No,
yeah,
it's all good. It's a safe space.
uh, there are some amazing members, and we are taking art from both community projects and contests, and some custom art that we'll have coming up as well. A lot of mashups and really fun things that just go well on t-shirts and mugs and whatnot. And of course, we're always keeping notes, whether people realize it or not, from what people saying, suggestions, and in the chat. So that definitely has the power to influence for whoever feels like pitching in and offering their 2 cents or three of their brain cells to try and make some amazing ideas.
Amazing. This is like my favorite thing about the Fly Frogs in general is because they're like so outwardly like laid back and goofy, but behind the scenes there's actually like a whole bunch of stuff going on and in the works for the long run and the roadmap and everything. Do you have like background in like merchandise, for lack of like a better word, or like creating merchandise like off brands or anything, like, and not that that's like super important, because I feel like the spirit of Web3 is like bringing on board passionate, like talented people, even if your like long-term background isn't necessarily in that. It's very much like inspiration driven, creative, like passion driven, like space in general. So did we just sort of like talk you into this, or do you have some background in this? Either way, I feel like it's the perfect match. But how did we end up here?
Well, honestly, I've been able to draw since I was able to hold a pencil. I was very fortunate because I grew up with entrepreneur parents who were able to support me going through the arts and going into artistic career paths, as some parents probably wouldn't be so inviting towards. But my parents were gung ho for it. So ever since I was probably around 8 years old, I've actually been selling art and creating art for selling.
Wow.
I started doing logos and larger professional commissions probably around 14, 15.
Oh shit.
Since then, I've been in trade shows across Canada doing different kinds of fan art and personal art because I'm a big fan of Pokemon. I'm a big fan of a whole bunch of other things. And it's really amazing to be able to interweave my passions into my career and really ride on that spark of inspiration to be able to make just things that bring people joy. So when I did get into more of the NFT stuff, at first it felt like absolutely random internet points. And it was cool because I was selling some art, I was getting to know wonderful people, and of course I just rolled with everything because I think it's very important to make connections and to really establish that rapport and build something for yourself as an artist. It makes you stand out. It gives you more leverage for doing bigger things later on, not just with trust with the community, but also trust within yourself and that personal knowledge that you can do it. So from here on, I am looking to do probably some more projects to help with that sort of uh what's it called? Not conception art, concept art. So concept art as well as being the main artist for them, mostly for charity stuff and a lot of unreleased stuff, but it's bringing me a lot of fulfillment and I'm really excited to keep going ahead with it.
Yo, that's so great. I can't believe that I just like saw your costume and was like, "Yo, you should be chief of wardrobes for us." Like not even knowing all this incredible background that you have that's like completely relevant to like everything that's going on. I was like, "Yo, you're chief." And you're like, "Yeah." And here we are and everything. But that's awesome. I mean, the fact that your history and art like runs back so long. Show your stuff. I saw in your Twitter profile that you got some other projects going on, and that's amazing that you've been able to leverage some of this experience and be able to do cool things beyond just the fly frogs themselves. What else you got going on?
So unfortunately, I am under NDA for most of my artwork. Just kind of comes
Oh,
with the career path. But I can say that as soon as I have stuff to share, I will be. And it seems that we will be launching some of this within the next couple weeks, which is super exciting.
is this a Web3 thingy? Is this like
They will
something from
be
your?
mostly NFT generative projects and stuff
Oh, cool.
that are just sort of in the initialization stage right now. So even if I were to try and leak, it might get changed.
Yo, fair enough. I'm like sort of obsessed with generative art, so like anything in that like whole vein is really exciting to me. That
Sure.
just means we should probably do another one of these things when it's time to drop your thing or whatever, and give the pond a heads up of what you got going on and everything.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
so do you and you feel free to like decline any questions or whatever. Like Fly Frogs was your, if I'm understanding correctly, sort of your foray into Web3. You've been able to like pivot like what you've learned along the way into like some other Web3 projects. Do you have like some sort of like normie job that you're grinding out during the week and like doing this on the side for fun, or are you like full-time artist at this point, or what's a normal day-to-day in the life of Redacted Frog look like?
I am actually a 3D character animator by day. I have a full-time job, which is always fun to try and juggle stuff. But yeah, I am currently working on a Kung Fu Panda animated TV series that is unreleased, and that's pretty much all I can say about it. But I can say the title, which is cool.
Dope. Yeah, that's amazing. That was so much more alpha, like just in that you dropped like a second ago when I was asking you to drop alpha. Kung Fu Panda is like a huge. Are there other like recognizable series or like brands that you've worked on that you can mention?
I think that would be the biggest one. I did have teachers in school that worked on different Disney productions, which is pretty cool as well. But I mean,
Awesome.
I am only in my early 20s, so I don't have too much experience yet, just from the time that I've walked the earth.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes that counts more than anything. Um, so I have like a really random question to ask you, and it's concerning your like the way you type and the way you space out like the letters of like certain things in your tweets, in Discord. You don't even have to tell me anything about it, and part of me would even feel good if you didn't tell me anything about it. But I'm still like trying to figure out like the method to the typing and why certain words are spaced out more than others. But even if you don't want to like show your hand in terms of like why certain words are like whatever, I just want to say like I love it. I feel like it's really hard to stick out in terms of like conveying how you're feeling or like just different emphasis on words like through text alone. uh Robness, I don't know if you're familiar with Robness at all, but he's like the other one who he just types in all caps all the time. And he's just done it for so long that it's just so Robness and so like iconic that nobody could ever steal it. And I feel like you got that same thing going on. I'm like, if you were to type something out and I would have no idea, there's no name attached to it at all, I'd be like, that's redacted. Obviously, that's redacted because that's the only person who types like that. Have you always done that? Do you want to just keep it mysterious? Is there any like method to the madness? Like what's the deal?
Uh, Basically, I did just start it when I created the whole redacted frog persona. And I think it's one of those beautiful things that comes along with character creation. I mean, as a live action role player, you sort of get a feel for what makes different characters stand out, what makes them special and memorable and fun to relate to. And it's just sort of something that I kept going because I think it's hilarious and it keeps me from getting too serious on the numbers and treating it like a job instead of a hobby.
Yo, I love it so much. I love it that when I DM you, like you still never break character. Like it's always like even though no one else is reading these messages or the way you're typing at all, like you're still keeping it up. I think it's so great. Do you have like specific characters that are like super memorable to you for those types of reasons, or like I don't even know like where the overlap is. Just like certain characters or people or personas that stick out in your mind that are very inspirational to you.
There are certainly ones from friends that I've interacted with, and it's always been something that's funny and something that's unexpected. I suppose it also might come from a little bit of during COVID, I binged the entirety of Homestuck. I read every single thing, which is I think over 1 million words at this
Oh
point.
shit.
Um, I tend to be quite a quick and fast reader, and it was really interesting because in Homestuck you have a bunch of characters that have quirks when they speak. In this case, speaking
Okay.
would be in the form of, the written dialogue,
Right.
because it isn't exactly a voiced anything. But it is incredibly inspirational, and I don't know, I found it really fun. It was stupid by many accounts, especially what that happened in the plot, or what could loosely be called a plot of Homestuck. But overall, I think, yeah, it's just fun to find something that you enjoy doing. I'm quick at pressing the space bar. I
I
think
mean, I
my favorite part of it is when I'll be talking with somebody and they speak normally all the time, like a normal person. But when they get really excited about something, they'll mimic my writing style and they'll space out a word if they're really excited. And I think that's
yeah.
just absolutely hilarious.
No, it's so great. Honestly, like I almost wish I had like thought of it myself. It's just so hard, in this sea of texts and tweets and Discord messages. It's really hard to, sort of have a style that's very distinguishable from other people. And I don't know. I'm almost surprised. Like I haven't seen anyone do something similar before, and I'm sure there are other people out there, but I just think it's so great that you've like never broken character. And honestly, that's one of the things that I like loved about the frogs as well, is because obviously I LARP as like Lord of the Pond, and it's like a totally ridiculous persona. And I'm like calling people comrade, but in the same like sort of sense of fun that we can like do this thing, but let's not all take ourselves like too seriously, and yeah, just like have a good time with the project. um, I would love to hear. Have you collected other projects out there? Are there other projects that sort of have like a similar community or sense of fun, or that you really enjoy being a part of, or even just like simply for like art's sake? Like, I own a piece of your art that's very different from anything Fly Frog related. Clearly, you have talent in like other realms from like cartoony space and everything, but yeah, would love to hear like your take of like just sort of the lay of the land of NFTs right now.
Well, I've only been in the NFT space for probably, I think it is 6 months now, which it's been an absolute snowball ride going, you know, at full sprint for how much progress I guess I've been making and how many things I've been picking up. But as far as buying NFTs goes, I tend to buy them when I see a project that really intrigues me. And one of those was Alpha Girl Club, because I just came across their art when all these women-led projects were really taking off, and rightfully so. It was absolutely gorgeous artwork, and it seemed to be for mental health. It was also the biggest one that I had bought because I believe at the time it was point 0.2, and it was around, I think ETH was worth 4,000 Canadian or something. I don't know
Mm,
what that is in American Eagle dollars, but
right,
something like that.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it was enough to make quite a, you know, purchase, at least for somebody like me who doesn't have 200 ETH in a bank account. But it was amazing, and it really unlocked a community that focused almost purely on mental health. So they do a bunch of different chef series all the time that you could follow along with, and they're all live and interactable, which is great. They do a ton of spaces that focus on, meditation, stress, different mental things that make you, not neurotypical. And there's a whole variety of those, which, all come with their positives and negatives, as everything in life does. It's all about, yeah, just taking care of yourself when the world's kind of spinning out of control in some areas.
I love that. What's it called? Alpha Girl? I'm not familiar with the project. Alpha
Yeah, it's
Girl?
a Alpha Girl Club.
Alpha Girl Club.
AFG. Yeah.
Yeah. if you think about it, DM me the link afterwards. I would love to check it out. I'm like very interested in projects that are trying to like deliver something positive to the community beyond just like additional NFTs, which I think is sort of the trap that a lot of projects have fallen into.
Mm.
Like, if you're not an artist and you're just like creating a project, is like, what do you do next? Well, next is like the next airdrop or the next thing you can combine. And we've done a little bit of that with the fly frogs and making the tadpoles, all in the name of fun, of course. But I think it's a challenge for everybody in the Web3 space to like think about like really interesting. If you're not making art for the sake of art, which is completely fine and I believe in as well, but it's really difficult to think of like good utility beyond just churning out additional NFTs that actually like uplift the community and allow people to engage in something positive. um, that's really cool. Just how does that work? Just out of curiosity, do you have to like own an NFT to be a part of those things, or is it like open to everybody? But or yeah, how does that work?
So the Alpha Girl Club in specific, I know, is open to anybody. You can join their Discord, but it is the holders that have special things unlocked, like the chef stuff I was talking about, where they have the meals and all of sort of the extras, but all of the basics are available to everybody, and that's really what the project stands for, is moving mental health forward. And I believe they're also currently working on a mental health app that'll be available to all holders, where you can there are a lot of similar apps out there, but they're always really fun and really quirky, and I think this one will have a lot more than the regular ones in the market, where you have to keep track of your goals and do mindful breathing, all the self-care stuff. And I think it'll be really great because they seem really innovative, really diverse, especially with the cultural and gender and everything for diversity. It's been amazing and phenomenal just seeing all of the experiences of so many people whose worldviews and upbringings are so different than mine.
Yeah.
I always find that there's such beauty. It's almost entrancing being able to walk in somebody else's shoes in the way that they describe their world.
I love it. Honestly, that's like one of the things I love most about having been in Web3 for a while is just like meeting so many people from so many different like perspectives and cultures and countries. And it's, just really quite the melting pot of everything in Web3 right now. So, and that, love finding out about projects that really attempt to embody that like whole ethos as well. So that sounds like an awesome one. Um,
For sure. But yeah, like you were saying, Fly Frogs is mostly just all in the name of fun. And when it comes to art, that can be your purpose. Absolutely. I mean, that's why I bought into it. I thought it was hilarious and wonderful. And hell yeah, I want to be a frog.
Yo, same here. That's honestly why I was drawn to it too. Like beyond anything else, I knew nothing about the project, but I was like, yo, I like these frogs. And I try to make some wise investments in the space. Not saying fly frogs is not a wise investment, but I try to purposely make some investments that I can make money on so that I can do the fun stuff. And that's how Fly Frog started out for me as well. It wasn't like, I'm trying to make money. It wasn't like I'm trying to join the team. It was just like, yo, I just think these frogs are like really funny and I
For
want
sure.
some.
Well, it's
So,
so positive for the space as well, because when you get projects that are really only about utility and making money, and there's not really a heart or soul to it, it's just cold hard numbers. You get a lot of negativity. You get a lot of statistics that are really rough to deal with and calculate. It's all very cold-hearted AI stuff, it feels like. And Fly Frogs is the warm beacon of sunlight in that sort of area of Web3 where, yeah, you can just show up. You don't have to know really what an NFT is anyway. You can just show up and say, Ribbit, we don't care who you are or where you come from, and we'll accept you, we'll love you. And yeah, it's
it's
beautiful.
it does, it feels like that. I feel like it's always been like that, but it's what am I trying to say? Like a lot of the rest of the Web3 projects and a lot of the other projects out here are coming under like heavy scrutiny for rugging people, scamming people. Is this like a worthwhile investment? And I think it's like, was very wise of the entire team not to position this project as like, you buy into this so you can make money. It's like, putting the community first and trying to have a good time with it. And of course, everyone wants like the value of everything to go up. But treating it as like a slow burn type of situation rather than like add all the utility as fast as possible, seems like the right call. And honestly, would have never landed you here, which I feel like, especially after this conversation, is like a huge score. I'm like, dude, how did this happen? After like just being like, yo, you are a chief wardrobe designer, and you're like, yes. Um, yo, what is there anything we didn't cover? Is there anything people should know about where to either find you or what you're working on or like anything you're cooking up? Because like I said, even if people aren't in the audience right now, we're recording this and we'll drop it in the YouTube channel for people to listen to later on. So give them all the things.
Uh, Geez, I mean, I don't have too many things out there. I'm on
All the
Discord.
things
I'm on
redacted.
Twitter. I'm on Discord. I'm on Twitter. If you shout loudly enough into the void, I'm sure you'll find somebody. Um, I'm a pretty tricky one to find, but I mean, that's mostly because I just don't know where I'm going half the time. I'm a bit geographically challenged, and Ethereal Zephyr knows that too much, where it's like, oh yes, I'm going to the store, and then 5 minutes later it's like, where's the store? It was supposed to be right here, and I took like a wrong turn somewhere, left out the wrong part of the building. Just been wandering in a random direction for 3 hours.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you sort of found yourself stuck in the pond with the rest of us.
Yeah,
Uh,
if there's anything people say about me, it's probably that I'm formidably ambitious, that I'm cute, and that it's entertaining to watch me eat food for some reason. I've gotten that so many times. I guess it's just a thing.
do you eat like you're a frog?
Apparently. I don't know. Come over and watch me eat a hamburger sometime, I guess.
All right, well there you go. The next Fly Frog in real life meetup, we will all watch Redacted consume food and judge accordingly. Happy to open this up. If anyone wants to hop on and ask a quick question or anything like that, real quick, feel free to ask for a speaker or a mic or whatever. I can give that to you. Otherwise, though, Redacted, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate. I've actually reached out to someone to schedule one of these things like farther out in advance, and they have like a billion followers and like ghosted me and everything because they were sort of nervous about doing one of these things. So again, like going back to your willingness to just like jump on as like chief wardrobe designer, jump on this thing and like record this weird thing about frogs and like wardrobe design with us. Just genuinely appreciate your attitude and feel like it exemplifies the pond really well and that we're very lucky to have you. And shout out to
Aw.
Ethereal Zephyr, right? They are
Yeah, he
in.
keeps me fed. It's nice. It's pretty cute.
he,
Oh,
he feed,
he's absolutely wonderful. Words can't encompass how much I love the man.
he feeds you so he can watch you eat and sort of laugh to his own self or
I
whatever.
guess that's one perk of feeding me, yeah.
Seems worthwhile. Uh,
Yeah. But no, thank you for having me. If anything's, chaotic neutral and doesn't really have too much of a purpose, then yeah, sign me up. I'll jump on for shits and giggles.
Amazing. Oh wait, hang on. We got Fly Frogs hopping up here. Let me give him the mic real quick.
Sure. Maybe it'll help people realize that I am not Josh because I have been mistaken for Josh, I think
Oh really?
9 times now. Yeah, 9 different people. They're like, "Is this you?" And I'm like, "No."
Yo, amazing. I actually just got asked to sign Marble Cards is doing a thing where you can like mint a tweet and then like you can get people to sign it. And a couple of people have asked me to sign Fly Frog cards, and I'm trying to pass them on to Josh, who's getting signed up. Yo, what's up, Josh? Man, how you doing? Looks like you're muted, dude.
Hey.
Hey, there we
Okay.
go.
I do have a question, but first I just wanted to say I feel like it's so auspicious that you are Fly Frog number 69, right?
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's fun.
and you're such an early supporter. Like we gave the first like 40 frogs away as like, prizes and stuff, and then you and Zephyr minted like frog number 68 and 69, which is very
Yeah.
just thank you for being such early supporters of us. And I'm really excited that you are leading. You're the creative lead for our upcoming merch store, which is going to be awesome. So it's just thank you for being such an early supporter, and I'm excited to really have you be part of the team and help lead the future of really cool stuff that we're going to be doing. Okay, now for my question, because I am the artist. What physical like tools do you use, and what software do you use? Not only when you're working on NFT stuff, but also for like Kung Fu Panda and like your animation.
So for animation, I just use Maya. It's pretty industry standard. It's incredibly expensive. It's very, very versatile, and it breaks probably every 45 minutes in a different way. But we use it anyway, and it's probably going to be a long time until we shift over to something else because it just does so many things in such a usually predictable way. And then for artwork and sort of 2D stuff, I will use Photoshop. Just standard Photoshop. Had to buy it. Didn't actually pirate it, which is pretty good for me, I think, actually paying for something. And I use a Wacom tablet and a pen that it came with. Nothing too fancy. That's about it.
What is Wacom? Help someone out who doesn't
Wacom?
know anything.
A brand, I believe.
Oh, okay.
That's what my
Gotcha.
tablet says. It is an Intuos Pro small pen tablet. Some Japanese characters, modeled Japanese characters, PTH-451 for anybody who, I don't know, wants to try and get my IP address off of that or something. I don't know how the internet works.
Yeah, that's what I use too, Rizzle. I have a Wacom tablet that I've had. It's like 10 years
Oh,
old.
no kidding.
Yeah, I just got mine with my 3D animation program that I went through. I got a Predator laptop and a Wacom tablet. Pretty cool.
Is that so? I feel like everything and I'm not an artist, so take that for what it's worth. But I feel like everyone I hear is using like iPad plus Procreate. Is this like something superior or like adjacent or like
It's
what? How?
very similar to the whole Android versus iPhone. Take that, but then make it artist. There you go.
Gotcha. That makes sense to me.
Oh yeah, and it literally is the same thing because Wacom, Huon, everything else is more so, I guess, along the same lines, and they are pretty good with almost any apps that you want to use them for. It's essentially like plugging in a mouse to your computer. It's pretty universal. And then, of course, Apple and all of its fun little lightning chargers and specialty stuff has a specialty program that goes with it, which I think is really wonderful to use, at least from what I've seen other people at school using it for. It seems really smooth, really fun. But again, it's Apple. I have no idea how reliable it is or how expensive it is or how exclusive, but yeah. I've heard that you can actually run Procreate on Windows if you have a um what are those called? Like a virtual machine type of thing. So if you really wanted to give it a shot, you could, but I don't think it would be worth the effort. At least that route.
Don't worry, it's not going to be worth my effort for sure. Maybe some other people's, but not my area of expertise. But I do honestly enjoy learning about it because I feel like the space changes like so rapidly, and what people are like using to create art and the programs and everything is just like so difficult to keep up with. Um, so, cool. Fly Frogs, did you have any other questions or anything?
Nope.
Ribbit, amazing.
Rivet.
Uh, Yo, again, Redacted, really, really appreciate not only your presence in the Fly Frog community, but also hopping on here and doing the thing with us. We'll definitely give you a heads up and make a bunch of noise on Twitter when we drop this thing into our YouTube channel. Shout out to Strawberry. I see Strawberry's in the audience. I know you're in on this merch launch that we're working on with Redacted. I don't know if you were here earlier when we gave you a shout out, so double shout out, Strawberry.
Whoop whoop.
Um, Whoop whoop. Uh, anything else? Anything we want to leave them with? Otherwise, we can wrap this thing up.
Yeah, get excited for merch in the next little bit, because this is going to be pretty baller.
Yo, I know. I'm excited. I'm trying to get the Save the Frog shirt that was designed. I know you didn't design that, but that one came out epic as well. And I got the Lord of the Pond pillow. So, I'm down for some Fly Frog merch. Redacted, it has been a pleasure. Really, really appreciate it. Shout out to the audience listening. And we'll wrap this thing up and catch y'all for the next podcast.
For sure. Happy to be here, and I'm excited for the next one.
Thanks, y'all. Have a great night.
Ribbit.
Take care, everyone. Ribbit.
Hold on, there must be some mistake. Don't you know me? I'm Kermit the Frog.